John says people believe the Bible because it gives comfort. Hi, John. How are you?
Okay, Laughlin. How are you?
Good. I'm always awesome. I'm never bad. Every moment is heaven to me.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. So anyway, I just want to know. I know you guys doubt the Bible, but I'm just saying that people believe in it because it gives them hope, and
sure,
they also believe it because it also gives them a point, meaning to their lives. Because the alternative would be believing that we're here by random accident with no purpose, no direction.
I don't know anybody. I don't even know any atheists that believe that. So I don't know where you would get that idea at. That I don't know anybody that believes we're here by a random accident with no purpose, or that seems like a really horrible way to live.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so I don't. But so why? What now? So that's why I don't understand. I understand that people do believe in the Bible because it gives them comfort. Yes, I agree with that totally. People believe in the Quran because it gives them comfort. People believe in the Upanishads because it gives them comfort, right? But that doesn't prove the veracity of any of those things.
That is true. You're completely correct.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we as atheists we want to know is if we're going to put our belief into something, we're going to commit ourselves to that. We want to be able to know that what we're committing to is the truth.
I totally.
It's not having no purpose. It's just reserving our opinion on a subject until we have proof. And it's just one subject. It's not like we don't run our whole lives off of that one acceptance of a God thing.
So why do you think people believe something without any evidence whatsoever? I'd like to know.
I didn't say evidence. I said proof. There's a big difference.
Okay. Well, what's the difference between proof and what's the difference? I want to know.
Well, you can give bad evidence. You can have bad evidence. Evidence doesn't mean proof. Evidence is something that is given to you to try to make a point, but it might not make that point.
As opposed to
evidence is thrown out in courts of law all the time because it's bad evidence. I think it's really important for atheists in particular to stop using the word evidence and start asking for proof instead.
So what would you consider proof?
I would consider proof to be unambiguous empirical proof. It would have to have only one explanation. Everybody would be able to understand that explanation, and everybody would be able to experience that explanation in one way or another. And I think that even you, John, even you use that standard for physical things in the world before you believe in them. Like you don't believe in Bigfoot because it didn't meet those standards, but you believe in your next door neighbor because they do.
Well, so would God appearing in front of the whole world in the sky be considered proof?
I think that would be good evidence.
But you still wouldn't believe it.
I said that would be good evidence. One thing that I think would be like really good that might prove it to me if you want a particular incident. And I said this once to a Christian, because they asked me, and I said, if every starving child in the world all of a sudden in one flash of a second had a sandwich that they could eat in their lap or in their hand, that would be pretty good proof to me, right? Poof. Just materialize out of nowhere in every starving child in the world's hand, right? And I said that to a Christian, and you know what they answered to me? God doesn't put buffets on the corner for people because they're lazy. And I was like, wow, that's not even relevant to what I even said. I talked about starving children, and you're talking about starving people in buffets when I'm talking about a sandwich. So it was like I gave what I thought was a pretty simple thing that a God could do. and instead of understanding my simple thing, it was taken to a crazy, crazy place that even a God wouldn't do. So I don't know. I mean, what would you think would be proof, John?
Okay, well, the proof for me would be to see something supernatural, something that's unexplainable. For instance, if it all of a sudden it was raining up instead of down, or if night turned into day, or if the ground opened, or if God Himself stood right in front of me. Something.
Wait, so if you saw, go ahead. I was just going to ask one quick question. So if you saw a UAP, an unexplained aerial phenomena, you would just believe it there was God. And go ahead, Jimmy.
No.
That was a very good segue, Kelly, because I'm just thinking, why would that be God? You know, just because you can't explain it, why would that be God? I feel like there are other avenues we could go down to either rule God out, or I'm going to plagiarize from my friend Scott Dickey, who I just did a show with on Talk Heathen on Sunday. But how do we even add God as a possible solution? You know, how does God get on the list as causes or as reasons behind things happening? Why are we jumping to God without eliminating all other possibilities? And I think that we've seen the earth open, right? So I don't know that God is the response there.
Okay, so like I said, if that were to happen, we should have a thorough investigation to find out what it is. Correct?
Well, I would want to, but I mean, I think that you were talking about evidence for the proof of God, and you started listing things that would equate evidence, if I'm not mistaken. Night turning to day or day turning to night,
yes.
The earth opening, things like that. But why jump to God without first ruling out all other possibilities? You know, because I think that throughout human history, there have been things that we... Okay, hold on one second, though. All right, well, if you're agreeing that there should be an investigation, fine. But that, you know, I guess what I was understanding from your comments was that these would be evidence for the proof of God. I wasn't getting from you that you were looking to do an investigation.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying we should do an investigation. It could be.
Well, I agree with you.
Correct. Yes. Okay. We should do an investigation.
I think being skeptical is being more skeptical, and skepticism is not just a rejection of an idea offhand. But I think being skeptical serves us well. That when we do these investigations and we look at them from a scientific point of view, because that is really the best way we can look at something to try to see if it comports more to the truth, the physical truth that we are living in, our world that we experience. So, and that way we're not just taking ideas out of the air and throwing them in there, that we can actually, as I was saying, get unambiguous empirical proof of something. And I understand that science can't always do that. You know, that's, like I said, mentioned the UAPs. You know, we don't have an explanation for everything. But I think that trying to get those explanations is very important. And I think it's very important also to reserve judgment until we have those explanations. Does that make any sense to you, John?
It makes perfect sense to me, because you see, I want to know the truth, whatever the truth.
Mm-hmm. Good. I'm glad this has been a really good conversation, John. I'll be honest with you. I was a little worried about taking the call because of some of the past calls, but I think we're having a really good conversation right now.
I agree. I totally agree. I love it when we have good conversations like this.
Yeah, John, I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. I wasn't tracking that we were kind of in agreement. I thought you were coming from a different perspective, but yeah, I appreciate that you want the truth and you called Truth Wanted. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah, totally.
And I appreciate that you took the time to speak to me. And because just like you, I want to know the truth. If it is God, I'd like to know that. If it isn't God, I want to know that. All I'm interested in is the truth.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that. I did say I was going to take a little bit of time out to talk to you. We actually ended the show 8 minutes ago, but I really wanted to have this conversation with you, John, and I'm glad it went so well. And I'm going to be hosting again next week. How would you like to call me back, and we can pick it up from here?
Well, we'll see, gentlemen. Okay.
Okay, and I think it's pretty funny that you call me a gentleman. It's obvious you don't know me that well. So, thank you very much, John. I appreciate your call.